In this video, we are going to talk about the area of 2D shapes, namely square, rectangle, and parallelogram. Now, we can measure length with a ruler, right? When it comes to length, we can just use a ruler and measure whatever we want to measure, right? We can measure the length of anything with this tool. However, when it comes to area, there is no measurement tool. When we're talking about area, we have to calculate that value. And this is very important because we have to know the definition of area to be able to calculate it. So basically, we start defining 1 unit per 1 unit square, right? This is what we are going to count actually in a given area. Generally speaking, these are the units that we use in metric system, like meters, right? And then we have centimeters, we have millimeters, or if we go up, we have kilometers. So basically, we are going to use these units as the length, side length of our square, which we're going to use in counting. So what happens is, to measure the area of such a rectangle, we just count how many such unit squares we have. So we just put 1 here, and then we keep on counting. So we say, for example, we'll have 1 more of this, and we're going to put it here. So it's going to be 2 squares, and this is not enough, so I'm going to go on. So it's going to be 3 squares, and then 1 more, 4 squares, and so on. Certainly, this will take too much time to fill in any rectangle with the unit squares. So basically, what we do is we measure the side lengths, because then we can find the number of unit squares to fit in. So let's say this length is, right, 4 centimeters. And this length is 6 centimeters. So what's going to happen is we're going to have, let's say, 4 lines drawn in here, right? And then 6 lines drawn in here. So basically, we'll have, try to consider these as squares, although it's not. So basically, I have in this column 1, 2, 3, 4 squares, and in each column I have 4 squares, I know, right? How many such columns do I have? Well, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 columns of 4 squares, right? That's why when I'm calculating the area, I go like 4 times 6, multiplying the side lengths of this rectangle, which I will end up with 24 centimeters squared in this case, right? So instead of counting like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and so on up to 24, I just count 1 column, which there are 4, and then I find out how many such columns are there, which is 6. So I multiply them. Actually, I'm counting fast, right, with multiplication, and I find the area of the rectangle as 24. So basically, whenever I have a square, a rectangle, right, I just need to know the side lengths. For this square, it's 4 centimeters. For this rectangle, let's say this is 2 meters to 9 meters, right? To find the area, all I need to do is to multiply the adjacent sides, this one and this one, just because this is a square, right? I can write this as 4 centimeters as well, and I can calculate the area to be 4 times 4, which is 16 centimeters squared. And for the area of the rectangle here, I have 9 meters here, I have 2 meters here, so it's going to be 9 times 2, which is 18, this time meters squared, because the side lengths are given in meters. So basically, this is what we do with rectangles and squares. Make sure that the side lengths you're multiplying, as in here 9 and 2, these sides should have a 90-degree angle in between, right? Basically, we call them as perpendicular. If two lengths have a 90-degree angle in between, then they are perpendicular to each other. So make sure that you have this angle in between so that you can find the area. What are we going to do if we have such a figure? Well, this shape is called as parallelogram because the opposite sides are parallel to each other. They never intersect, right? So in this case, for this one, we're going to use the same method, just that I need to cut this parallelogram from here, right? I cut from here to take this now triangle and to add this part. So that's gonna be a rectangle when I do that. If I just move this triangle cutting from here and taking to here, right, then what I'm going to have here will be a rectangle, or sometimes maybe a square. So just because I end up with a rectangular square, I can just use the same idea. So if I have this rectangle, all right, let me do that again. If I have a rectangle with the given side lengths like this, let me show it to you. So this, I'm talking about a parallelogram. If I have a parallelogram, which is going to be 8 centimeters here, and we are going to have a height of, say, 5 centimeters, just because when I cut it from here and take this triangle and attach it here, I will end up with a rectangle of 8 centimeters to 5 centimeters. I can just go like the area gonna be like 8 times 5, which is 40 centimeters squared. Because this part is in 8 centimeters, I'm going to put it here. So the side length here does not change. This is still 8 centimeters, and this height is the same as this side length. So basically, the area of parallelogram is the same as the area of rectangle. So if you clean up the figure, these are what you use to multiply to find the area. Now careful, if this side length is given like, let's say 6 centimeters, you are not going to use this to find the area, because the angle here is not like this one, it's not 90 degrees. And just because of that, you cannot say 6 times 8 is 48 and this is the area. That is wrong, so you cannot say this. That is totally wrong. Why? Because the angle here is not 90 degrees. This is the height, and this is the side length you have to multiply. Now is your turn. Please solve these questions on your book and please submit your answers online. Thank you.